Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. I'm here to talk a little bit about pet dental health, and then I will leave you to the rest of your day. So, the problem with the epidemic of pet dental issues is that they can be caused by so many other internal issues, but most people don't make that connection. So, for example, the gastrointestinal tract starts at the throat and goes all the way down the stomach, so that if they vomit or have bad breath, that can actually be signs of poor digestion. And there's a lot of things you can do to help that, but just looking at the teeth won't necessarily fix anything. And they say that looking at your pet's dental issues and taking care of these issues can increase your pet's life by up to 20%. Which is really interesting because most people don't even think twice about looking at their pet's teeth, which is sad but true. Dental treats are one of the most expensive kinds of treats you can get, and taking your pet to the dentist is also very expensive. So I'm going to give you a few tidbits on how to help, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about typical dental problems for dogs, cats, and horses, just to cover all the bases. So in dogs and cats, their teeth should be white with potentially a little bit of yellow at the top, but not a very thick yellow. The gums should be light pink and smooth. You don't want red angry gums or bumpy gums or anything like that. That's probably a sign that something's coming. So you should keep a look at that, unless of course you have a breed that have pigmented gums. So for example, chows or the breeds that have black tongues when they're born and they get a little color change when they get older. Bad breath can be a sign of periodontal disease, which is when the bacteria and toxins are actually destroying the teeth and the gums. So periodontitis can develop into gum disease, which is when the plaque that is building up on the teeth starts to eat away at the gums and the ligaments that attach the gums to the teeth, which is when you can have loose teeth falling out, and it can be a really big problem. The tartar then builds up and irritates the gums, which can cause redness and swelling and cause gingivitis. Gingivitis then leads to the periodontitis I was talking about, which can cause infection, inflammation, loss of binding ligaments, bone recession, meaning the bone moves back to try and get away from the toxins, but it's usually quite chronic by the time it gets to this case, or gets this far. Loose teeth, and there's lots of other issues, but if you check my website under the hygiene and safety, it'll show what severe plaque and tartar buildup looks like in dogs, cats, and horses. It is a little bit different in horses just because your teeth are constantly growing once their adult teeth come in. Typically with cats and dogs, their adult teeth don't grow once they're all the way in, but horses' teeth constantly grow. They're typically used as a way to assess how old the horse is. But with horses, typically the most common dental procedure is what's called floating, which is when the sharp points of their teeth are filed down. Because they only grind their teeth, they can't move their jaw the same way that we do. But if the sharp points are not filed down, they can poke into other teeth, irritate the gums, or actually change the shape of and alignment of the teeth, which is really important. But the problem is that a lot of times floating gets done, but all of the malocclusions don't get cleared up. And by malocclusions, I mean severe hooks on the teeth, ramps when it's slanted like this, waves when it goes like this, cupping, malformed teeth, deciduous incisors, or premolar extractions, meaning they still have baby teeth and they got filed instead of being removed, and that's now causing dental pain. So it's similar to the sense if we go in and we have an exposed nerve somewhere in the back, and they clean all our teeth and they make them the shapes that they're supposed to be, but the exposed nerve at the back doesn't get fixed or covered. or removed actually, and the pain is still there. And the problem with horses is because most of them have a bit in their mouth is a very important and sensitive area for them. So if their teeth are not properly cared for continuously, I think they say every 6 months a dentist should visit the barn for horses, but they may not be able to hold the bit properly. Some of their teeth are actually shaped to fit the bit better, but they become difficult to ride because they won't tolerate the bit in their mouth, which strains the relationship between the rider and the owner. So that's something to think about. If your horse is unexplainably being difficult, that could be one of the areas you should look at. Or at least look yourself with a flashlight to see before you call the horse dentist. But definitely consider the dental area. It is quite important. For dogs and cats, to fix this, you can give them things to chew recreationally. So this is the raw bones, not cooked. If you give them cooked bones, there's a high probability that they'll splinter and they can get lodged in the gums or the intestines or the throat. So that's really important to watch out for. The thing with raw bones, and I wrote about this on the diet section of my website, I believe, the bone should be, I believe it's bigger than your animal's head, because if it's smaller, they can swallow quite big pieces, and it could be so big that their teeth can actually chip on it if they're chewing quite hard. Kaya's been chewing on bone since she was little, and she has very clean teeth. She also has a raw diet, which is said to improve because the fact that they have to chew their meat more, it's very raw, it rubs on their teeth and cleans off a lot of the bacteria. For cats, they actually recommend kibble because it's dry and grainy and it cleans their teeth a little bit. While I'm not a proponent of, supporter of kibble in the most senses, there could be alternative ways to help cats with dental problems, but seeing a cat dentist would be a big start because it can lead to so many other issues if it's not looked after. I mean, even if they have an infection in their immune system, eventually that will get or to be displayed in their mouth. And it's a really expensive area to clean, so better to take care of it when they're younger. For dogs and cats, there's typically things you can add to their water. I know there's a product called Slurp and Fresh you can add to their water that cleans their teeth. You can add holistic things to their water to clean their teeth, and most of those, I believe, are on my website. If not, I'll add them. But diet-wise, there's a lot of antioxidants that help because it keeps the tartar and plaque off of their teeth. So this is enzyme CoQ10, vitamin A, B complex, C, E, zinc, and manganese. So all of these added to their diet will help the health of their mouth. And probiotics, because again, if it's the gastrointestinal tract, all of the bacteria will start in their mouth and carry all the way down. So if they have bad breath, it's quite possible it's something intestinal or immune system based. But again, always something to check out. Of course, if you're feeding your dog fish-based food, their breath is probably going to be pretty bad. But add a little parsley to their food, and it actually keeps their breath fresh and strengthens their immune system. So that's always something to think about. It's usually really easy and cheap to grow parsley. You can just take a little bit and sprinkle it on. Makes their food look a little fancier too. Omega-3 fatty acids are the last one because it's such a good immune booster that it strengthens their ability to fight off any bacteria in their mouth. Now, of course, the one thing I didn't talk about is brushing your pet's teeth. With horses, most people typically don't brush their horse's teeth because it's just not something that's talked about very often. Dogs and cats more so. There are a lot of what you call finger brushes, where it's plastic and it goes around the top of your finger and then underneath, and it has bristles on this part so you can get in their mouth better and reach the back parts. Kaya will tolerate having your teeth brushed, because she knows she gets a cookie after, and it's typically something that will clean out her mouth. Once a month I do get her dental treats that help her mouth, but they are rather expensive, as most of the good ones, the chemical-free ones, are. But it's an investment because I would rather do that than have her have to go to the dentist and be put under to have her teeth cleaned, because it's a risk every time you put your pet under, and it's something that I'm not particularly fond of, but I know sometimes it is necessary. So that's all I have to say about pet dental health. If you have any questions about it, feel free to let me know. I have a section on my website, and if you see anything that you want to know but isn't on my website, then you can let me know that too, and I'll add it to my website. But I hope you are having a great Tuesday and staying nice and dry. It looks pretty gross outside, but I have some more work to do before I go about my day. So I will see you all next Tuesday.